All right, boys, good one for you today. 2011 Range Rover, Land Rover, Range Rover, L322. This is going to be the air suspension woes, guys. Ride height module. In fact, it was replaced. They replaced a lot of other modules or suspension parts regarding this, and they were unable to calibrate it. They got an error code, and I'm going to show that to you in a minute. Now we go to the back of the vehicle, and this is where the actual air suspension pump is located. And the problem that was causing this error code, the techs are pretty good here at this shop. They do all European, but you know, sometimes we all make mistakes. And what happened was, where you see this black connector here, they connected the black connector in the wrong spot. It was swapped with this green connector. So the black and the green were in the wrong position. So the first one here should be the black one, and then the green one goes at the bottom. What happened is the tech just used logic, being that this one is black, and he assumed that the black one had to join it, but that's not the way it actually goes. So that resolved that error code. By the way, fuse box location, guys. Also, this is the cover that actually sits on top of this pump, so you got to remove the cover to actually get to that. As you can see, there's screw holes there where it mounts. By the way, the ride control module is behind this fuse box. You got to drop this pedal to get to it back there. Guys, very important to know the way the color scheme goes on this. Kind of hard to find this information, but as you can see, you got the green here at the bottom, the black, and then you've got the orange here that feeds the main. That's in the rear. It's different in the front. So that's the passenger rear is where that's located. We go to the front. And this one is orange at the top, green at the bottom, and black is the feed that comes in from the bottom of the actual valve block. So the green and orange are side by side. That's very important, guys, because the customer had them mixed up. So that's something to keep in note. If you have those mixed up, you can have issues.
Okay, this is the area that comes on the dash after replacement of the ride control module. And as you can see, the calibration is off as well. So here are the errors, the main errors, and this is basically a definition of what they mean. You can pause, and we're going to pretty much resolve them. Once we resolve the error with the hoses, you're going to end up with this U3000 message. This doesn't mean anything bad. It just means the system hasn't been calibrated yet if you replace the ride height sensor module. Now, if you can raise and lower the vehicle with the buttons on the console, you won't have to do the inflation and manual deflation like I'm about to show you. But if you replace the ride height module, it's necessary because the buttons will not operate because the system will not be in customer mode. Now, you will need a capable scanner to do all of these things. That's why I highly suggest you go over to our website, globalcommerceca.com. We have all the best tools, scanners, everything you're going to need to get these things done. This scanner will do it all, pretty much all makes and models. It's a launch-based system, as you can see in this video. Best of all our products are supported by us directly here in the USA, so you don't have to worry about any kind of shady dealings. Once you actually bought a product, you get full support from us. So click that link and check it out, guys. Let's go. Now, as I said, first step, you need a capable scanner. You're going to navigate to the vehicle, and now you're going to, on the main screen, you're going to select service functions, rather special functions. Now, our goal is to standardize our height of the vehicle and get it in normal mode. So to do this, we're going to deflate the entire system and, well, the suspension. And at that point, we're going to then enable the suspension and pick it up and put it into normal mode. And once we're at that mode, that's when we're ready to start calibration, guys. We're going to select air suspension, deflation, and deflate all springs, and then you just follow the steps from here. Then we're going to go into enable the air suspension, and at this point you just follow the steps to enable it. You just read this, you can pause, click OK, and it's going to tell you put on the hazard lights to do this, and you pretty much follow the steps, guys. Pressing the up button on the console to move it up, and then it's going to be done. You tell it OK. Now we're going to do the height calibration, guys. So we're just going to go ahead and read the screens here, pause it if you like, and you follow the instructions. It's pretty much giving you the requirements to get this done. And you will need to start the engine for this, guys. And you do need to be out of the vehicle, as you can see here. and pretty much we just follow the steps. It's going to open the valves, and once it's done, it will let you know that, and it's going to go through the process. And here it's going to ask you to measure the distance from the rim, the middle of the rim to the bottom of the fender. So you're going to need a tape measure, and you're going to need to measure it, and it's going to be somewhere between 18.5 to about 19.5 inches. And you need to measure front, left, right, rear as well. And you're going to have to enter that number in millimeters, okay? So you're going to have to convert it if you do not. If you're in inches like me, you convert it, it's going to be something like 500 millimeters or something like that. Once you do that, the vehicle is going to be racing. It's going to go to off-road mode. That's part of the calibration. Then as soon as it gets into off-road mode, it's going to then deflate back to normal mode, at which point it's going to give you the measurements. And in my case, it was a little bit off. So it's going to raise it again and ask you then to enter the values again.
Right, it just went into off-road mode. Now it's lowering and put itself back in standard mode.
It always drops down to normal mode before you enter the values. And at this point it's completed, and you just tell it okay, and turn off the vehicle.
As you can see, it's going now into the like off-road mode. So we want it in normal mode. So you can see that it's going into off-road mode. So what I'm going to do is hit the button and actually drop it down, because we do want it in normal mode to do the calibration. Because while you're in the calibration, it actually needs to raise it up to off-road mode at some point after you put in the values, and back down to normal mode. So if you're already in off-road mode, it's going to have a failure trying to calibrate it. So I'm just using the buttons. I moved it up and down, and once it's actually fully at its normal mode, then the lights will stop. That'll let you know that it's done inflating to its normal height. Okay guys, this one had an error that would keep failing, that the exhaust, it wouldn't vent fast enough while it was doing the calibration. So I came to do some testing, and when I would hit the down button on the switch, this would actually vent. This is the exhaust valve right here. It would vent, and I could feel the air blowing, but it would still trigger the error. So what I decided to do, here's where it comes out and it enters into the valve here. I pulled it out from here. You just push the red in, and then you could pull the cable out while you're doing it at the same time. And I retried it, and it vented fine, no errors. So that let me know there's an issue here. Could be some debris inside there, blockage, something, and it's not pushing out the air satisfactory enough. And in fact, during calibration, I pulled it from here, and I was able to pass where it was failing before. So that also confirmed this has an issue. Customer decided to replace the whole unit because it comes together. So we're going to replace that and try this again.
It's a quick note, if you do replace this pump, and you can see this version is different than the original version in the car, it does require using the SSD software, Land Rover software, and reprogramming the ride height module to accept this different compressor, guys. Keep that in mind.
All right, boys, that's it. It is now calibrated. As you can see the difference now in the screen. So I can actually now raise it. It's out of custom. It is in customer mode now. So if I hit the up button, you can see that it illuminated the arrow. It says raising now, and as you can see the arrow's going up, and it is raising. I can feel the car moving. You can see that. One thing, if the motor does get too hot, it will stop until the motor cools off and then start back up. So that's something to keep in mind. And I can lower it down. And as you can see, we're going down. And that's at the standard height right there, as you can see indicated by this arrow right here. And of course I can go all the way down if I want to, but that's it for me here. Click that thumbs up button, guys, like and subscribe. Another thing, if you have any issues in the calibration, what I notice is sometimes when it's lowering, it just detects that it's a tad bit slower in deflating, and it might give you the error about that. I just literally leaned on the door, put my weight on it as it was deflating back to normal mode in calibration, and that helps it deflate faster and get you past any kind of issues that you might have with deflating speed. But as you can see, it works just fine in inflating and deflating.